Friends, Fever fans, welcome back to another Fever Replay podcast, your home for weekly breakdown of Fever games and news. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by the love of the game. Sometimes you lose for the love of the game. I'm joined today, as I always am, by my undefeatable co-host, Keisha Gallagher. How are you, Keisha?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you during these trying times?
I'm terrible.
Oof.
So for those of you W fans who don't know, there's a men's league, okay, of basketball. I know. And they just had the finals, which I know this is boring to hear about. But hold on, there's an indie team, and they were in the finals, and it went to a Game 7. And then our star put his career on the line. Oh, because he knew he was hurt. He had a calf injury. He strained his calf. But he had a great game in spite of that in Game 6 and brought us to the Game 7. And he still played. And he was incredible. In 92 seconds, he scored 3 3-pointers. 7 minutes played, 9 points. He was going to lead us to a championship. And then the worst thing, he tore his Achilles. So sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how I'm doing. Me and the kids are super into it. We were joining in on all the festivities here in Indy. We tried really hard to get in the watch party at Cambridge, and it was devastating. I think my son, Harrison, felt his first sports heartbreak, which was tough, to witness, but also made me a little proud. Like, yeah, that's what it's about, son. It's about those highs and very much those lows that we experience being a fan of a team. So, yeah, how was your weekend?
Well, I enjoyed a ton of women's basketball. It was a very interesting week of basketball, a lot of surprising wins and losses, and I'm excited to talk to you about it.
Good. I'm excited too. We have 2 losses to talk about. Just off the bat, I'm not going to say the most devastating losses. I feel like in both of these games, the opposing teams played really well. It wasn't a thing where Fever shot themselves in the foot a million times. They were games we were in, felt like we got outplayed more or less in the fourth. But let's get into it. Let's start with a brand new team, one that not only have we never played, but has never existed before this season. We're talking about the Golden State Valkyries that we lost against.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I feel like Golden State is, as you said, it's a new team, so it's comprised of a lot of young, talented individuals who bring a lot of different styles to the court. I think we really struggled to figure out how to match up against them, and it was just little things. Poor shooting performance, difficult in matchups. I don't know. It felt like we really struggled to find any sort of chemistry, and the 3-pointer was just not it.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they steamrolled on us because we came out early, outscoring them big time in the first. They got a little momentum in the second. It felt like coming out of halftime, they really came to play. They didn't just bring the heat on offense. They were really finding ways to stop us on defense and stop our momentum. I found myself really impressed with the Golden State Valkyries after this game. That was like my main takeaway. I was kind of like, when I talk to people about it, they're like, I heard the Fever lost. And I'd be like, yeah, but that Valkyrie team, I tell you, it looks fantastic. Like, that was my takeaway. And it was also cool because, brand new team, but they had that stadium rocking. It was cool. Like, we, as Fever, like to brag that all of our away games are sold out because we bring a lot of people. And while that was true, it seemed like their fans really liked their team too.
Yeah, they are definitely supported and welcome in Golden State, and it's nice to see that was almost immediate, if not as soon as it was announced. But yeah, I think that this really was a big learning experience for the Fever. The turnovers were a bit of a struggle. Again, the shot selection was just off, and I saw a lot of Golden State's fast breaks really paying off, and didn't really see that happening for us.
No, it felt like momentum-wise, we really kind of ground to a halt there, especially in the third quarter coming out of half. It was kind of interesting when you look at the plus-minus of it. We had no one in the positive, but we did have Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, at least at 0, which, in a loss is not a bad plus-minus to have. Yeah, they both had pretty great percentages. We saw Aaliyah Boston had 63%, and Mitchell was shooting 54, both from the field. One thing that I found really cool, I was reading about it, that over the summer break, apparently both Lexi Hull and Aaliyah Boston decided to focus on their finishing. They both felt like they were lacking in finishing. They went to the same trainer, and that was their entire focus of the summer. And it's kind of an amazing thing to hear that Aaliyah Boston felt like her finishing was subpar, and then she comes in, and as far as the beginning of this year, she's one of, if not the leader, in efficiency. I mean, it's just a cool thing. You rarely see somebody in this level of competition get to go from like, this is a weakness to this is my strength now. It's kind of cool.
And I would say also for Lexi, she definitely had I don't know if a resurgence as a threat behind the 3-point line is the best way to describe it necessarily, but isn't she the highest shooting percentage 3-point shooter?
Yeah, she's number one. She ended the year last year that way too.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've really found, okay, well, if she's the fourth option, or at least the fourth biggest threat that a defense is looking at, then we're going to get her a lot of open threes, and she seems like ready and willing to take those shots. No hesitation. She's letting them fly, and they're going in at a pretty high rate, which is, it's great. But anyway, let's move on now to Las Vegas, the Aces. They had kind of a fraught year before getting to us with some injuries, but correct me if I'm wrong, are they back to full strength now?
They are, and this week is Asia Wilson's first week back from concussion protocol, and I feel like she is still an insane threat at all levels, but she definitely was a little rusty, which was to our benefit, even though they still managed to pull out a W. She was not hitting on all cylinders. No, it felt
like she shook off the rust, I think, during the game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she started the game a little rusty, and it was like, oh, okay, hey, if this is the Asia Wilson that is coming onto the court, hey, we might be able to do this. But it was not the Asia Wilson that ended the game. Both of these last two games, we really let off the gas in the second half, but specifically on defense in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we lost
both games.
We lost those fourth quarters.
Yeah, both games we allowed 30 points, which is not something we've done a lot this season in general. We kind of have been priding ourselves on defense, but the defense was almost non-existent to close the Golden State game as well as this Vegas game.
Yeah. And the points, again, the turnovers were not insanely uneven for the Aces game, but the amount of points off of turnovers, those are really killing us, especially with bigs and the speed that the Aces have. But it just, it was a battle of the benches just not being on the same level, not bringing the same amount of passion or spark off the bench.
Another thing, so like Clark has been in a 3-point shooting slump the last two games, really. which is never too concerning. The 3 comes and the 3 goes. And if you trust in the preparation and the work, I never mind when high percentage shooters take some shots. They're going to miss, That's not something that in general concerns me about her play. Mm-hmm. But if you look at her plus minus of she was minus 15, she was the worst on our team. I don't think that, once again, plus minus is a very good role-playing stat. It's an okay starter stat because we lost the game. So, of course, the person playing the most minutes is going to have a low plus minus. But I do feel like Asia Wilson, despite the early woes in offense, was doing a great job of picking up Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Honestly, this type of game is the one that gets me most excited as a Caitlin Clark fan. Because I remember when I first started watching, I first started getting into it, I'm like, this Caitlin Clark chick is pretty good. And then all throughout last year, she has this record-breaking rookie season. And it's like, oh, man, is she just going to destroy this league? And the answer is no, she's not. When you see her going up against the current reigning MVP, it's just clear that Asia is currently in a different league than Caitlin, which is, fine. It's super exciting. And I think something that a player like Caitlin, absolutely needs to see and sees this. I don't doubt for a second Caitlin's motivation to train and get better. But something like yesterday is something that if you're a alpha competitive mindset person, you're going to see a game where Asia Wilson shuts you down and be like, I can't have that continue to happen.
Right.
That's going to be something that's stuck in your head. Yeah, she's better than me. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that she can't do that to me anymore. And, that gets me really pumped, really excited to watch that happen. It doesn't get me pumped that we lost and that Asia's on the other team.
It doesn't get me pumped that we lost. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Especially, I think there was this hope and this energy that Fever fans were feeling after playing New York, and the energy from Connecticut, all of the hype that this was kind of going to pull them through easy victories through this week, especially because the Aces appear to have been struggling, and the Valkyrie kind of have been having hot and cold games. But yeah, I think there's a lot to learn here. Definitely.
And in general, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you think about this, but I'm not blaming everything on the Sun game. But in general, in my experience as a sports fan, after high emotion games like that weren't as much focused on the sport and more on kind of, all of the exterior stuff, all of the little fights and the chippiness and the emotions. There's kind of a letdown after that. You'd think it would build into emotion, but it doesn't. I think when you're back and you're looking at film and stuff, you're like, oh, well, we could have done a lot better. And we let them get in our heads. Why did we do that? I have rarely seen something like that lead to stacking days. Mm-hmm. We're like a huge team win where you executed the plan you wanted to do. It was tough, but you dug in. That definitely leads to success down the road. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's a good point. I know that the type of energy you have after you have marked those boxes, those goals during a game, is definitely easier to build off of versus some sort of drama or chaos that has nothing to do with basketball itself. It can be very draining. It can pull focus from what's important. I'm sure that can be very detrimental to your mindset.
So true. What are your concerns? We've just had these 2 losses. It's not the end of the world, but our record isn't stellar, certainly. We're right in the middle of the pack. We were playing somebody that was right under us, so now I think we're tied. If the season were to end, they have the tiebreaker on us. Not a great place to be sitting. But still, what are your kind of concerns for the Fever right now, having seen a good amount of games.
I'd say, especially with the last couple games, it's how we respond to struggle. I feel like what we've proven to do is continue to have turnover issues when turnovers are a problem, and then the problems that we can sometimes experience when we are missing threes or we aren't getting the shots that we want. Who's going to step up and become a leader, and who's going to start scoring if Kelsey Mitchell's still getting 20-plus points, but it's not enough? There has to be other names that step up when your traditional shooters aren't landing those shots.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like watching just these last two games, we both times had an issue with generating shots when we didn't have momentum. Whether it was the people coming off the bench or even the starters, if we were in a rut, it was kind of like, what do we do now? We were doing a lot of ISO, which, like, it sometimes works, but then what did it generate after that?
Right.
Like, where's the mismatch now? Like, what is the defense thinking that they're going to do? Like, oh, they can just stay home and hopefully win the ISO again. You know, that was frustrating to watch for sure. One of my biggest concerns is the ability to close games. Because both of these games, we were in it at half. And we know as the season gets on, as the games get more important, good teams are never going to just go away. You have to put them away. And these were two good teams that we didn't even come close. It just kind of, the lead was building. We didn't stop trying, but we weren't like, okay, let's buckle down, let's get back to our defense, and let's, get our own runs going. I didn't see that. I didn't see it in either one.
No.
And that's something we have done this year. So it's not like, oh, we're incapable. But it's what I saw in these two were concerning to me.
Yeah, I agree. Something to build on, for sure.
And another really, I don't know, this is interesting. I saw a Caitlin Clark shot chart. And basically the article was talking about how Caitlin Clark has a right side shooting problem, which this chart does seem to suggest. So I'm looking at it here. She's 40% from her spot on the left. Mm-hmm. We all know that's where she's crazy good. 41% from the top. And then on the right, she's 21, which is a huge drop-off. You could say stats aren't everything, percentages aren't everything, but when you see twice as bad from that side, and then that got me thinking, in general, when I'm watching, and this isn't always the case for sure, but that tends to be the side where she starts the pick and rolls from. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that we can work on that on our offense, and not making it. Hopefully, I don't think teams have completely clued in on that. I feel like she hasn't really had a absolutely horrible game lately. Like I said, her 3-point shot is dry. She had a double-double last game. But that could become a problem if we're getting too predictable. Like on the left, she's going to shoot. On the right, she's going to play make. That sounds very dangerous to me. Mm-hmm. Not something I'm, like I said, concerned that they can't fix, that Caitlin can't figure out how to make sure that that's not becoming predictable, but is a little concerning.
Yeah, I think that that's a nerve that can get exposed throughout the season, especially if other shooters are not hitting. It can be something that continues to get picked at, and it can cause frustration for her.
I mean, one good thing is Kelsey Mitchell hits from there all the time, so that's nice.
Kelsey Mitchell, unsung hero.
Good old Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not here.
No.
We sing that song all the time.
No, not us. Not between close friends, but she needs to have some sort of flag or something. People need to be talking about her more.
All day long, I would love to hear Kelsey Mitchell's name spoken. And I'm not even just talking about sports. I would prefer if on a given day, throughout my day, people just refer to Kelsey Mitchell. That'd be great. My boss be like, Chris, I looked at your numbers. You seem like a real Kelsey Mitchell out there.
Whoa.
Thanks, boss.
What a compliment.
Yeah. What a compliment. Okay, Keisha. So we have a busy week of games. We have a busy week. We have a back-to-back, but we also have almost a week off after that. So give us the Keisha scouting report, the KSP, if you will.
If you will. Yeah, so starting off with a pretty dangerous team, we have the Storm, who have been really taking shots and taking down some pretty aggressive opponents out there. Big names to look out for would be Skylar Diggins, Ezzy Magbagor. Not sure if you've heard of this name. Anyone familiar with Erica Wheeler, who's having an incredible season in Seattle?
I think you mean E-Weezy.
And Nneka Agwumake, who's just, every season is just a threat. And off the bench...
I just want to say I'm really glad that Wheeler's having such a great year.
Mm-hmm.
She was great and just not a good fit for our team.
Yeah.
For sure not a good fit, but, really grateful for her, and she's clearly skilled, and super excited to see her doing well.
Yeah, she's doing great in Seattle. And then just some other options that we would have to deal with would be Gabby Williams, who's a threat. Alicia Clark off the bench can get really hot behind a three. And then again, Dom Malanga, the 6'6" center from France, who can dunk, has not yet, but can. Just something to noodle on. She's 19, no big deal. I'm not worried. But following Seattle, we then have the Sparks. So for the Sparks, they are having a bit of a tough season themselves when it comes to injuries and getting used to a newer team, but they do have some pretty talented folks over there, including Azure Stevens. You have Letu King, who's the rookie from Notre Dame, another Notre Dame phenom, Rakia Jackson, Dearica Hamby. Lucky for us, Cameron Brink has still not come back 100%, but she is on the horizon. So far, she is saying she will not be ready for the Fever, but that's a fast, young,
but
and
we're
tough
thinking
team.
she'll be ready soon.
She'll be ready soon.
The upcoming weeks, we think she'll be ready.
She should be back by the end of this month for sure.
Oh,
I don't know what her minute restrictions will look like, but Cameron Brink will be back, baby. And she was leading in blocks for a long time last season while she wasn't even playing.
No, she was incredible right up until she got hurt.
Yeah. Devastating for her, but happy that she has been taking her time to heal and come back. Lucky for us, she won't be playing. But our final opponent, nothing to ease into the end of the week. We have the Wings.
Did you mention Kelsey Plum on
I
the
did.
Sparks?
Yeah, and Kelsey Plum. Yeah, I did.
She's pretty good.
She's pretty good.
Basketball.
With our luck right now, the Sparks will continue to kind of struggle as they're working through new positions. Ray Burrell's been injured. Some other injuries have been impacting them, so they've been trying to find their own flow. So hopefully that's still a struggle, but that brings you to the Wings for that final game, and with the new rookie everyone can't stop talking about, Paige Buckets. That name alone is going to draw a lot of attention for this matchup, I know. But don't forget, you have just a few phenoms out there, including Arike, Dejanay Carrington, and don't forget this is where Nelissa Smith landed with the Wings. So she's very familiar with what the Fever are bringing to the table.
We're probably going to hear a lot, I would expect, about Caitlin Clark and Paige.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of charts and graphs and things to point out all types of fun details. But I'm just excited to see how they play, because despite what everyone is going to say, they're very different. They play the position differently.
Very different.
They have different
Extremely
focuses. They're looking to do different things when they have a ball. But of course, it's just going to be who can hit the deepest three, who has the craziest assist. But I'm excited to see how they match up if they end up covering each other, which, come on, give the people what they want.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of giving the people what they want, it's time to end the podcast.
Whoa, dark.
No. But thank you, Keisha, for that. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for another Fever Replay podcast. Hopefully you're all having a good week. If you're here in Indy, my heart goes out to you. If you're having as tough a week as we are here in the Ord House. But hopefully we have a great week of Fever basketball ahead of us. So thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Fever Replay podcast.
Bye.